Going to begin, though, with Hurricane Ian, the monster storm growing stronger as it approaches the western tip of Cuba. It is on track to hit the west coast of Florida as a major hurricane as early as Wednesday.
Florida residents are getting ready, collecting bags of sand and clearing store shelves of bottled water. Meteorologist Dani Beckstrom joins us now with the very latest on Hurricane Ian's timing and its track, Dani.
Right, Charlene. As of the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, still Category 1 with 80-mile-per-hour winds, but rapid intensification is expected due in part to the really warm water in the Caribbean and the low wind shear. So Category 1 right now, but later this afternoon into this evening, a Category 2 crossing Cuba overnight into tomorrow morning as a major Category 3 hurricane. Typically, any land interaction, especially a landmass that's mountainous, will help to weaken and rip apart storms like this. Doesn't look like that's necessarily the case. With Ian, it moves then into the extremely warm Gulf waters, intensifying to a major Category 4 hurricane. Right now, landfall is expected as we move into the end of the week, and it will weaken as it approaches the Big Bend region with that land interaction. But what I want you to pay attention to is just the track as it kind of skirts the coast of the Florida Peninsula. This is going to slow down in forward speed quite a bit. So this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, this is Friday, and that means days where this strong storm out in the Gulf just pushes that wall of water onto the west coast of Florida. Storm surge is a major factor with Ian's track. Now, where the center of the storm is, confidence, to be honest, is still low this many days out, which is why this cone of uncertainty is so wide. We're saying the center of the track could be anywhere from the Panhandle down through southwest Florida. Right now, the official track right here, but storms like this have the tendency to kind of hug the coast. The friction makes them grab onto the coastline, and if that's the case, we're looking at the most intense part of the hurricane, the eye wall, kind of riding up this major area where a lot of people live near Tampa. Again, storm surge, rain, really intense wind, even an isolated threat for tornadoes, especially in the northeast quadrant. And even if you don't have friends or family in Florida, you want to pay attention to Ian because it looks like the remnants make their way up the northeast, and that could bring us rain by the weekend into the start of next week. Charlene and Ken.
That whole western coast, they are standing at attention. Thank you for that, Dani. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency throughout Florida. As many as 300,000 people may be evacuated from low-lying areas in Hillsborough County alone. ABC's Morgan Norwood is joining us now live from Tampa, Florida, where they are bracing for impact. Morgan?
Hey, good afternoon to you, Charlene. As Dani mentioned just a second ago, Ian has the potential to bring in some pretty dangerous storm surge. I mean, we're talking about levels up to 10 feet, and we've really seen a dramatic shift in urgency over the past 24 hours, with officials urging everyone to use today to prepare to get all the supplies they need. We also have learned within the past hour that there are evacuation orders for certain parts of Tampa, especially for those positioned along the shoreline here. This afternoon, Ian swelling to hurricane status and charging toward Cuba with the potential to become a major hurricane as soon as today. Residents in Florida keeping a cautious eye. Governor Ron DeSantis declaring a state of emergency for the entire state.
Floridians up and down the Gulf Coast should feel the impacts of this as up to 36 hours before actual landfall due to the size of the hurricane.
Many wasting no time gathering supplies and making preparations.
Just make sure I'm self-sufficient for a while because I know electricity is going to go out. And I'll be fine.
Though forecasters are unsure where exactly Ian will make landfall, all agree the storm will lash large sections of the state with heavy rains, whipping winds, and fierce flooding. ABC's Rob Marciano explains.
This is Tampa Bay, a massive body of water that spans 30 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. Only 11 feet deep. With the right wind, that water gets pushed up the bay, piling up until it reaches downtown and has nowhere else to go, flooding the core of the city.
And it's why homeowners are boarding up and why Jose Lugo is filling sandbags. He just helped his parents prepare in Puerto Rico for Hurricane Fiona, and now he's doing the same for Ian.
And now I'm here helping myself and everybody else that I can.
And while Floridians look to shield themselves from Ian's impact, Canadians are still reeling in the wake of Fiona's fury. Hundreds of thousands still without power and homes and businesses destroyed.
But right now, the priority right now is getting power back to people, getting people a safe shelter, getting some return to normal.
And back here in Florida, more than 2,500 Florida National Guard soldiers have been called in to respond to this storm.